Good evening. Welcome to, let me make sure I'm getting this recorded. Yes, I am. I'd like to welcome you guys to tonight's Network Marketing Leadership Development Academy training. Really excited about the information I want to share with you. It's going to be kind of different. It's going to be something that I was realizing as I was trying to formulate this and put this in my mind that, only somebody as old as I am could put this together. And hopefully that'll be clear as we go through this. But it's really something that is very important for me, that I know that I have communicated to every member of the Network Marketing Leadership Development Academy. And as you guys know, I believe that the network marketing profession, the network marketing business model, when you sit back and look at it, it's real obvious where things are and where things have to go. And I believe that people that plug in and really develop their own, I like to call it team franchise, and have the dedication and the persistence to persist and to stay the course, are going to be sought out big time in the future. I really believe that. So again, it's really when we're communicating, and everything that I attempt to communicate to you guys on an individual basis, when we have our time to talk or through email or whatever, my mindset is it's really not about you, because I know you're going to be taken care of if you're consistent and persistent. I know that. But I also know that long term, it's about you developing your franchise or your team culture that's going to give you the opportunity to create generational wealth. And I feel like I have to try my best to help you see beyond your present, wherever that may be, and for all of you it's different, and where you ultimately want to go. And I need to have a clear perspective on where you want to go as well as you do. And if I didn't feel like you saw yourself, or you see yourself, or you are currently a career network marketer, then the Network Marketing Leadership Development Academy would have not been something that I would have thought would be a good fit for you. So the first thing I just want to get out of the way tonight regarding launch and relaunch, and I really want to address this real quickly. When we started the Network Marketing Leadership Development Academy, I honestly felt that the frameworks to move forward would be in place with every person. And some of you had the frameworks, but the majority didn't. And so that was kind of a wake-up call for me. And so we started working on that, and we're pretty much there, I think, with everybody with us tonight. Either you had it prior, we've helped you, but the frameworks are in place. Regarding launching a business, and again, I want to go back to the concept that it's really not about you. It's about increasing the odds for success for every member on your team long term. That's what it's about. So the results, when it's all said and done, aren't really the issue. It's the activity that's the issue. And especially when you're working with your team and you bring somebody in new, then they have to have a launch sequence, and their ability to take action and launch their business or not is a great indicator for you, because your time is the most valuable asset that you have. And I say that all the time, and I promise you, the further you get down the road and look back, that's going to be one of the things that's going to really, really make sense for you. And successful people are willing to expand their comfort zone, take action. And so this whole launch process, when it's said and done, okay, Dale, I launched to 50 people. I have 9 new customers. I have 2 new distributors. Dale, I launched to 50 people. I have 11 new customers, and I have 1 new distributor. Dale, I launched to 50 people. I have 2 new distributors. Nobody's interested in the business. It doesn't matter. The results don't matter. What matters in this business is the right mindsets and the right flow, because the right mindsets and the right consistent flow over a period of time always creates success. Always. So most of you have launched your business. You know what your numbers are. Dale, some people are at 30. I talked to somebody yesterday, they're at 30, they have 2 new distributors, they only have 4 new customers, and they're discouraged. Look, it doesn't matter. What matters is, in this situation, is the activity of getting it out there, getting it done, and putting together your launch sequence for your franchise. And today, that can include direct mail, which is more powerful than ever if you have a good brochure and a compelling letter, which you guys do, or you wouldn't be doing it. Facebook notification, individually, text messages. There's a lot of things that you can do. And what you want every new person to do when they get involved with your company is plant as many seeds as possible, as quick as possible. Say, Dale, what's the purpose of the launch? The purpose of the launch, number one, is to give people direction so they aren't just running around like a chicken with their head cut off, or confused, not having a clue what to do or where to start or how to start, and they're ready to do something. So that's number one. Number two is to see if they can take action. And number three is to plant as many seeds as possible. We had Leadership Development Academy members. I got an email this week or last week that sponsored 2 people that they had talked to over a year ago. That's the way it should happen. That's the way it will happen. And the important thing is that your committed, dedicated people, when they join, they plant as many seeds as possible, as quick as possible. Because if they don't get comfortable with the process and the follow-up and the rejection and people not calling back and people that won't pick up the phone and everything that they're going to run into, and with people that they know and people that they have a connection with, if they can't get comfortable in that environment, the cold market will eat them up, spit them out, and they're like that. So if you're still, and again, guys, I know some of you, it's been amazing, really, how many challenges in life challenges some of you have dealt with family and loved ones, and we keep you in our thoughts and prayers. And so life happens. That's why it's real important that you run when you can run, because you can't always run. And so if you've not completed your launch yet, get that done. Get that done so you can really get down to some of the things we're going to talk about tonight. And after the initial activity, the results there's a lag time with the results. Some you'll be able to see immediately, some you'll see a month from now, some you'll see 3 months from now, some you'll see a year, some will be 2 or 3 years from now. Really, literally, that's what happens. If you stay the course, you ultimately attract more people, because you aren't like the 99 friends and relatives they've had in the last 15 years that got excited about XYZ company for a week. Does that make sense? And when you lead by example and you stay the course, then you attract more people as you go. And a lot of those people, most of those people, will be people that people contacted in their initial launch. So I hope this is making sense, guys, because I don't want to spend a lot of time here tonight, but it's just real important. It's indisputable, absolutely indisputable, that the way to launch a business is in your local market and with contacts with people that you know. Because again, it's not about who they are, it's about who do they know. The most important thing when you're talking to people is, hey, who do you know that would like to try my product? Who do you know that's, you know, an entrepreneur that's looking for, you know, looking for an opportunity right now? Who do you know that's in between gigs? What entrepreneur mind? That's ultimately what we're trying to do. You take a list of 50 people, every 50 people, any 50 people, those people know somebody that could use your product right now or get involved in your opportunity. They know those people. They may name, they're probably not the person, but they do know that person. And see, guys, that's what you have to really get real with, just really understand. So when you're helping your people launch the business, you understand what's going on behind the curtain, behind the scenes. What are we really trying to accomplish? Why do we do it the way we do it? I promise you, the longer you're around, the more everything kind of comes together and starts really clicking and making sense. The people that do join the business, the people that do join you in your business, 70% will quit at some point, regardless of what you do. There's no, you know, people don't want to talk about that because that sounds horrific, but it's reality. It's just the world in which we live. So understanding that, that's why we talk about getting in depth and a lot of other things. The bottom line is, when it's all said and done and you look back, 90% of your income is going to come from 2 or 3 organizations. 2 or 3 when it's all said and done, 90%. So, you know, I've had really good people that have quit, and that's tough. That's tough when that happens. You know, I've thought about people that were with me, you know, years ago, and some of them quit and went to other companies, and to the person, they would tell you that jumping ship was the worst decision that they ever made, to a person. Because I've talked to most of them since then. Some of them aren't even involved in the industry today. And a few of them are and coming back. So the core systems of your franchise, launching, you got to get people launched, customer acquisition, 2-step recruiting process, distributor retention system, which we haven't talked a whole lot about yet. And then here's what I really want to talk about tonight, and I want to really share with you some things that you've never heard me say before. And I would only share with you guys. I would never share this publicly in a seminar or on a webinar that was open to everybody, what I'm going to share with you tonight. Number 5 is, and you've heard me talk about this many times, but it's ongoing lead generation. Ongoing lead generation. And technology will always provide new ways to generate leads for whatever type of business you're involved with. It doesn't matter what the business is. Most businesses are looking for ways to create more customers. I don't care if it's a retail clothing store downtown, it's a little restaurant, it doesn't matter. Most businesses their focus is on generating more customers or more leads, more potential customers. The biggest mistake made by all businesses is they spend far too much of their time looking for new customers, and they don't take care of their existing ones. And I don't care if we're talking, again, about a bookstore or a network marketing organization. As it relates to customers and network marketing, a lot of people think they have customers. They don't have customers. They have suspects. If they buy once, they're a suspect. If they buy twice, they're a prospect. If they buy 3 times, they're a customer. And you can take that philosophy to the bank. I'm telling you, again, I'm shocked at the number of local businesses that don't understand that. If you get them to come in your shop once, that's awesome. How are you going to get them back, and how are you going to get them back? Because until they buy 3 times, they're not a customer. And again, if we spend as much time helping our new people that join for the business, helping them getting launched, helping them move forward, helping them start creating some product sales, and helping them as we do looking for new people, everybody would be a lot better off. But we've created a culture where everybody's looking for their fast start bonuses, and it's just we're paying for it as an industry. So again, guys, as human beings, we want to accomplish the most we possibly can with the least amount of effort. That's kind of human nature. Some people enter the network marketing business to build a business, some to make money. And I believe that if you track the motivation back to every person that's ever joined a network marketing organization, granted there's a percent of them that just joined to get rid of Uncle Harry, and there's some that just joined because they liked hanging out with the network marketing group better than they did the people at Choir Practice. But if you look at the people that have really created something in the network marketing profession, the majority either joined to make money or to build a business, one or the other. And if you look at entrepreneurs, self-made entrepreneurs in any profession, and I read a lot of books, and I like the backstories of entrepreneurs. I just love it. I love the process. What did they have to go through? What were the trials, the errors, the hurdles, all that stuff? I'm fascinated by it. And the one thing that I've really come to grips with lately, and it's not just people that are my age, it's a lot of younger people. It's like once you get to a point where money is not an issue, once you get to that point, then it's like, what's next? And there's a lot of people as entrepreneurs that they get to a point where their reality is so far past their expectation that they have a whole nother set of challenges. And the ultimate path that they all come to over time is making an impact and having significance and making an impact on other people. And I always thought that was just, something you were born with or not born with, a characteristic you either had or you didn't have. But I've come to the opinion that from just a lot of reading and listening, and again, outside the network marketing industry, there's no question in my mind that people get to that point that where their reality so far past their expectation, and what they do at that point can be very self-destructive, or it can be very inspirational and helpful and impactful. And so I just say that with you tonight. I'm just sharing this with you just because if you can focus as much of your time, energy, and effort and emotion on providing value to the market that you serve right now, even if some of you say, well, Dale, I'm nowhere close to being way past my expectations, or Dale, I still have to, I'm at 78,000 last year. I got to get to 300,000 this year, and then I want to get to half. And and you've got all these goals in front of you. There will come a time when the majority of goals and things that you want to accomplish are behind you, and when you get to that point, I can tell you the natural progression of an entrepreneur is going to be: am I making a significance? Am I making an impact? And the beautiful part about network marketing really is, if when you stop and look at it, your income long term is in direct proportion to the number of leaders that you develop on your team. And if you can look at it from that and live in that every single day, it'll take a lot of the stress off of you now, and it'll help you a lot later. Another thing, this is a question you're going to have to be able to ask some of the people on your team, and it's: are you willing to eliminate your leisure and entertainment for the next 2 years and get in a grind so you can get to a place in your life that you want? Because most people are not willing to give up their entertainment and their leisure. Back in the day, it was a TV set. Now there's more escapism opportunities than ever before. If people really knew how many people they would have to expose, and this is a key phrase, to the entire story, because if they're not seeing the entire story, it doesn't matter. But if they knew how many people they would have to expose to the entire story to create a full-time income in network marketing, they would never attempt it. But if they did, it would be worth it, and the smartest business decision they've ever made. I've said many times publicly, and I'll say this from now on, that the network marketing business model is the most challenging business model in the world, because it doesn't just require skill sets. It's not just a matter of being able to cook gourmet dishes and get in a good location where people will come to your restaurant. It does provide skill sets and mindsets at a level that no other business that I'm aware of does. So, I'm never going to run from that fact. My job is to make sure every one of you, understand, look, I don't have any foo-foo dust. I don't. I just have more experience at helping more people maximize their leadership potential within the network marketing profession than any other teacher, trainer, consultant on the planet. Does that mean that, because you're a member of the Network Marketing Leadership Development Academy, that this is going to happen? Absolutely, positively, 100% no. I can help, I can direct, I can show, I can help you with the path, but I am the first to tell you, you're the one that's going to have to go down it. I can just show you where the shortcuts are that really aren't shortcuts, they're really dead ends. That's what I can do. That's what I do. There's no question it's harder for me today to do what I do from network marketing support services standpoint, because it's harder for you. And like some of you listen tonight, I don't need to do this. So, and some of you don't need to do it. So it really does come back to, it's about impact and significance for me. And I think if you look at it from that standpoint, to the very best of your ability for you, not just on what you'll do for other people, but I believe the impact, I know some of you are going to have on the whole profession, because you're going to make a huge impact on your personal companies on this journey. It just makes, if I didn't stay focused there, I would not do what I do from a network marketing support services standpoint. I have to stay totally focused right there about impact, or I wouldn't do this in any way, shape, or form. There's just too many other fascinating things I enjoy, but this is what I believe that I am supposed to do, so that means more to me than what Dale enjoys. I mean, it's like, you know, I believe people have to put away their entertainment and their leisure, and they have to grind. And for me, you know, nothing's going to come before family, and there's a few things, but as far as it relates to business, then this is my focus, even though I have other responsibilities, other places, and I will maintain those, and some maybe I'll expand, but this is what I want to do. This is what I need to do. It's what I'm supposed to do. Now, it's harder to make $100 in network marketing for most people than it is to make $1,000. It's harder to make $1,000 than it is 10,000. Because if you get to 1,000, if you just keep doing what you were doing, you're probably going to get to 10,000 over time. Here's the rub. Here's the rub, and you can see it. Look all over your company, whatever company you're with. And we have, you know, we have multiple companies represented tonight. Okay, look at the top of any company you want to choose, and here's what you're going to see. What gets you to $10,000 a month will not take you much further beyond that. That's reality. And I talk about that a little bit from time to time, that the odds, once a person gets to $10,000 a month, the odds are that in 5 years they'll be out of the industry, it's greater that they'll be out of the industry than that they will be at $250,000 or $300,000 or whatever. Okay, now, if that happens to a member of the Network Marketing Leadership Development Academy, it's only because I was not able to communicate what I have tried to communicate from the day we started. And it's, and I can't, that is horrifying to me. And I think it's important, again, that you just stop and think about it. 9 years, and again, my story, you all know it, okay? But when you go from 92,000 to 252,000, that's good. And then you go 2 years later to 1.1 million. Okay, that's only because there's a lot of six-figure earners coming down the road behind you. Okay, and then you go to 3.3 million. That's because there's a lot more behind them. And then you go to 3.8. So that's the flow. That's the process. That's the way it's supposed to happen. And that's the way I want it to happen for every single one of you with me tonight. Now, this is something I've never said before, and it's true, and I think it's important that you guys really understand it. Over the past 30 years, the number of people you need to hear the entire story to get to $100 in income. So we're talking about people on your team. How many people are they going to have to launch their business, that plant the seeds to get their income to 100 or get their income to $1,000? Now, obviously, this varies from program to program based upon a number of factors that we're not going to go into tonight. Okay, the concept is an important part here. or to get to 10,000. So over the past 30 years, the number of people that you need to expose to your entire story to get your income to $100 a month, to $1,000 a month, to $10,000 a month. Now, I've always believed that the way to get to $10,000 a month and the way to build the business is you help other people get what they want and you focus there. I've always believed that. I've always taught it. That's what I believe. But here's the most important thing I'm going to share with you tonight, and I don't want it to scare you to death, but it's reality. And that's okay that it's reality, and it'll be exciting hopefully before tonight's over. But in the last 30 years, that number has increased. The number of people you have to expose has increased at least 30 times. At least 30 times. So 30 years ago, the number of people you'd have to expose in order to reach $10,000 a month has increased at least 30 times as far as the number of people you're going to have to expose in the last 30 years. Now, there's for multiple reasons. And again, I believe if you're going to win the game, then you got to know the rules and you got to know what's going on behind the curtain and you got to know how to play the game. So going from $10,000 a month to $100,000 a month doesn't depend upon leads or the number of exposures. It depends upon the leadership development paradigm shift. I want that to sink in for a minute. $10,000 a month income earners are a dime a dozen in the network marketing profession. They always have been. Do $100,000 a month earners work 10 times harder than $10,000 a month earners? I would say they probably work less. What's the difference? $100,000 a month earners understand that they're in the leadership development business. They have the leadership development paradigm shift, that it's not about what I do, it's about what can be duplicated throughout my team. This slide, guys, is very, very important. So if you're watching the replay, it'd be worth just backing up and going through what we just covered right here. Network marketing companies are full of owners and leaders. And again, when I say leaders, I'm talking about those with leadership titles who are overwhelmed or cannot accept the drastic change in numbers many of them have experienced if they've been around 10, 15, 20 years. They don't know how to deal with it. I talk to them daily. They're not members of the Network Marketing Leadership Development Academy, but just different corporate people, company owners, because it is what it is. And I've always taught that we have to always learn to work with the way it is. Work with the way it is. See, the opportunity to create residual income and lifestyle for the average person with above average desire, I know of no other business model in the world that can provide what network marketing can provide. So I will never say it's not worth it until I truly believe it's not worth it. And people, but the law of averages, this is real important. The law of averages will always be the law of averages. So the fact that we have to communicate to 30 times more people today to hear the whole story than we did 30 years ago does not change the fact that the law of averages is the law of averages, and the law of averages still works. So again, everything varies upon opportunity, timing of the prospect. I mean, product line, everything. We could go on and on. Trends, lack of trends. We could talk about all that stuff. But when it's all said and done, whatever opportunity you're promoting, whatever products you're promoting, whatever your ratios are, that's going to be your ratios. And as your skill sets, mindsets, as you grow over time, your ratios become better, because again, a lot of it is because of the seeds that you've planted, but also the personal development and leadership that you experience. But the law of averages is always the law of averages. So many times you've heard me talk about, the formula is X number of people exposed equals reasons fulfilled. Okay, that's the formula. Okay, that has not changed. Now, has the number changed? Yes. The number of people exposed has definitely, without question, increased. But the formula has not changed. The formula still is X number of people exposed equals reasons fulfilled. That's still the formula. It always will be the formula. So the law of averages is the law of averages. Now, we live in a market where self-proclaimed gurus want to tell you the numbers haven't changed, or that there's a magic foo-foo dust that makes those numbers tolerable. I'm here to tell you, you cannot escape the grind. Even if you happen to escape it when you started, you're still going to have to grind down the road, because if you were one of the lucky few that took off, everything started happening, you had a lot of momentum in the beginning, you got to a certain level, at some point you woke up, and we all do, in a state of consciously incompetent. It's like, where's my group? What happened to everybody? Why aren't people doing what I'm doing? How come they can't do it the way I do it? How come it's so difficult for them? So then you have a whole other series of circumstances and that you have to work through, and mentalities and understanding, and it's difficult. You can have it. You're either going to have it in the very beginning, or you're going to have it down the road. And when you have it down the road, it can be really difficult, because there's nothing worse in network marketing is to have success and be moving and excited and turned on, and then it's like somebody turned off the faucet. It's like, what happened? I thought everybody was supposed to duplicate. And again, you know, I talk with a lot of 3%ers that have experienced this. And it's just the way it's always been. It is. But you're not going to escape the grind. The only thing that makes the numbers tolerable, this is important, you have to make the numbers tolerable for your team. And the only way you can do that is by helping them keep their top 3 reasons in front of them, and getting the law of averages from their head to their heart. If you've heard me talk at all, you've heard me talk about Jim Rohn's How to Build a Network Marketing Business CD. When we come out with the network marketing training clubs like 2.0, it's going to be the same material. We're just redoing some things. I'm actually in Kentucky in the studio redoing that as we speak. One of the things that I'm going to do is include that CD for every training club member. And you guys that know that CD have heard me say, you don't listen to it, you memorize it. And I don't say that about most trainings. I have about that one, and I believe that, because that concept has got to get from your head to your heart. When it got from my head to my heart, it changed everything. And I've seen it do it for other people over the years, because I've had conversations with my leaders, and I said, look, don't listen to this one. this is one that you memorized. It's one of 4 CDs that I ask my future leaders not to listen to, but to memorize. And I'm here to tell you that in today's marketplace, the 2 most important things you can do is help people get their reasons in front of them. Their reasons in front of them, because if that's not in front of them, they don't have a prayer. Get their reasons in front of them and memorize, get from their head to the heart the law of averages. And you need to be the example for your team. You need to be the example for Dale. My team's not big enough yet. You want your team to grow, set the example. You've got to set the example. You have to be that person. You know, success doesn't come from finding the right person. It comes from becoming the right person in the network marketing profession, becoming that leader. And I'm not talking about somebody with a title. I wanted to share this with you because this was just timing. This actually was on my, Dawn put this up, my wife put this up. This is a picture from my dad's birthday. Some of you know we celebrated his 80th birthday. One of the reasons we were in Kentucky this time. And she changed her profile picture or something, and then this girl, which I guess I've met, but I don't remember, Crystal Lynn McGuire, and she ends up sharing it on her Facebook page, and it was just kind of an interesting post. This happened today, and I wanted to share this with you because when I talk about making an impact and what you're going to be able to do because you're involved in network marketing, you just don't understand the people that you will really touch. And see, I can say this from experience, from the standpoint that my number 1 mentor in this industry, I was around 5 minutes my entire career. 5 minutes with the man. But I listened to hours and hours and hours of his training. But she just talks about, we did a seminar back in, I don't know, 1999 or 2000 called the Seminar of the Century. We had people from 8 different countries that came into Lexington, Kentucky. And she actually, she drove from West Virginia. So by herself to come to this event. And that was pretty cool. The Seminar of Century event, awesome people. I had a wonderful time there at your home and have learned a lot over the years from your teachings, Dale Calvert. So that just showed up on my page today, and I thought that was pretty cool. And I thought this is a great example, guys. You just don't know when you're teaching wisdom of the ages, and you just are strong in your convictions about truth and about developing people and not taking shortcuts, and you just convicted about it. It's going to make a major impact for a lot of people that you can't even comprehend. You won't even be able to comprehend it. See, and again, I'm in a situation as it relates to the Network Marketing Leadership Development Academy. It's like, I know I can't do it, but I know 20 of you can. I kind of got some random thoughts tonight, but I just stay with me because I'm hoping some of the stuff is really going to hit home with you. The other thing I want to talk about is team culture. Team culture. Successful people willing to do for a short period of time what most aren't, so they can do for the rest of their life what most people can't. I believe that. Team culture. Very soon, if you don't already have it, you need to have a team button. You know, I sit back today and I look at companies. And again, guys, I'm just kind of sharing some things tonight that I would normally never share, you know, in an open public webinar. But I am appalled, absolutely appalled at the companies that don't understand branding from the standpoint of, and I look and I say, what company is doing a really good job helping their distributors in the field and doing the correct branding? And I got this little Herbalife button. Many of you, if you're old as I am, you remember that everywhere you look, somebody was wearing one of those things. And then they had a bumper sticker that looked just as ugly as the button. And and I look and I say, what company's doing a really good job? You know, there's not one. You know, everybody's trying to be slick, corporate, fluffy image. Their network marketing companies are trying to brand themselves like a corporate America. And just stay with me, because I think this will make sense, because I don't care about the companies, I care about you. And here's what I've come to realize. When I sit back and look at it, there's one company that I think is doing a really good job, and It Works. And I know we have one It Works person with us tonight. It Works corporately. If you look at their drop cards, you look at all the branding that they're doing as a company. When I'm out and about, I'm always looking at this stuff, guys. Everywhere, I'm looking at the car signs. I'm looking at, and everything's very congruent, and it's the same. It's the same, okay, which is the way it should be. As you're building your team, you need a button. And you need a team button, because most of you, your company's not going to provide a button, or if they do, they'll provide 17 instead of understanding if we have one and everybody's wearing the same thing, ultimately it's going to help everybody in our company more. It's going to help everybody more if we say, this is our button, this is our this is our car signs. They don't see what they're doing is they're outsourcing this to a company or to a couple of different companies that are more concerned about selling it and making a profit on it than they are how applicable is this particular button or brochure or whatever in the marketplace to create customers and business prospects. So every convention they're coming out with a new cool t-shirt because they know the naive newbies will buy it. Or they got to come out with a new this or a new that or whatever, and everybody wants the latest greatest, which is ridiculous. Because if you create, and again, I'm using button, but we can talk about any kind of branding that you want, and I'm talking about it from your team standpoint, guys. Like, we used to we teach people, drop a bomb on your community. The same mini billboards, road signs, the same everything, the same ugly yellow brochures, the same buttons, and it's like, the same ugly license plate on the front of your car. And it's like people keep seeing this license plate all the time. Eventually they're going to ask somebody, what is that? If everybody on your team is wearing the same button and you're focused on building a strong local organization, and people see the button at the soccer game, the mom's wearing it, and then they go to the restaurant and some guy's got it on his sports coat, and then the next day or two they're walking in the grocery store and somebody's walking out and they got this button clipped onto their grocery bag, their cloth grocery bag. Eventually they're going to say, what is that? So that's what you can create with the right branding with your team. And again, button drop card is the best 1-2 punch in the world, because you don't have to wait for somebody to ask. When you're somewhere and you're communicating with somebody at a restaurant or at an airport that's obviously underemployed, all you have to do is say, hey, I noticed you were looking at my button. This card has my website. I'll tell you all about it. Hope I hear from you in the future. Pay for your magazine and your Coke or your water and walk out of the store at the airport. Okay, it's easy, it's simple. Everybody that you ever enroll on your team can do that. So that's one of the first things. And again, I'm just talking about branding. That's what I want you to get. I want you to think about your team branding. Okay, Dale, this is going to be our team button. This is going to be our team, whatever. Okay, whatever. A lot of you have gone through the local MLM leads program that we did. And whatever you're doing there, if it's car signs, bumper stickers, whatever it is to get your message in the marketplace, make it congruent and make it easy for people. And don't depend upon companies to do it, because it's going to be a never-ending flow of new products, new t-shirts, new this, new that, because most companies, again, have outsourced it to companies that are more interested in profits than they are helping people in the field build their business. Ongoing lead generation. The speed of the leader is the speed of the group. Over the past 90 days, how would your team look if everybody did what you did? You should always ask yourself that. You got to set the pace. You have to set the pace. You are them now. You have to set the pace. Initially, your competition is with yourself and you getting it done, getting some people, getting daggone it, I'm going to move forward with this. It's not, you can't act like your back's against the wall. It has to be through the wall. I mean, whatever it takes to get you to move forward and move forward consistently, daily, doing smart moves, making smart moves is what it takes. Now, this next thing I'm going to share with you, I've never talked about, but it's important that you guys understand. And I want to cover this, but we look at network marketing in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Why have those numbers increased 30 times, Dale? Why have they increased 30 times? And back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, we basically all started in our local market, in our warm market. I mean, because there was no internet. There was no, there was no internet. Okay, there was no voicemail, anything like that, the tools. And what you will see is technology continuously gives us more ways to get our message in front of the marketplace. Okay, and there's a yin and yang to it. So back in the day, local market, home meetings, hotel meetings, coffee shop one-on-ones. And that's how we exposed products and we exposed our business to different people. And in 1980 when I started, I actually did make a list of 500 people and actually did call every single one of them. And a lot of people joined me because they knew me and they liked me, but they were not the right person. I wasted my time, their time, but I didn't know it. They thought they were helping me out, so they joined. But back then, in its infancy, and actually, network marketing started in the 30s, was the first company, but we're talking about 50s, 60s, and 70s, and basically it's been the same all the way back, is the only real negatives that you had were friends and family members. And network marketing back then had about a 70% failure rate. Okay. 70%. Why? Well, multiple reasons why. Most people didn't have the skill set, they didn't have the mindsets, and they weren't willing to develop them because they were too busy watching Ed Sullivan or something. Okay, I mean, nothing changes, guys. It is what it is. 70% failure rate. And the only real distraction, though, was the negative friends and family. Don't do that. Don't do that. You know, why would you buy that kind of soap? You know, you're paying twice what you can buy Tide for, and all this stuff. So that's the world in which the industry really started to flourish, the profession, the market. And then in the 80s, people started talking about long distance sponsoring. And I actually did a course, you know, at some point in the last 35 years called How to Build a Nationwide Network Marketing Organization. And obviously that was before the internet. How to build a nationwide network marketing organization. I know a couple of you have that one. Okay, but we were able to tap into things like USA Today classifieds. And then I remember when USA Today no longer allowed any direct sales network marketing to advertise in their classified section. And within 6 months, there was a lot of people that had built their whole business on that one channel and who thought it was all about getting them in and never understood it was about keeping them in, developing leadership, and helping them move forward, who were out of business 6 months after USA Today quit allowing classified ads for network marketing direct sales. We also used to do Success Magazine ads. They were powerful back in the day when Success Magazine was really Success Magazine. Okay, when it was geared towards sales professionals and corporate managers, and you know, most of you probably realize that someone bought the name, the name Success Magazine, and now it's just it's a network marketing publication. We could do targeted college newspapers for pennies, statewide classifieds. I can remember the day when, you know, if I had someone in Vermont and they were getting going and they were showing that they were going to be, you know, they were serious and I had their reasons, and they were calling me on the phone and they were throwing ball and playing ball with me, that I could call up this one company, and you can still do it today, and I could run a little classified ad that hit every little local paper throughout the whole state of Vermont, or Illinois, or Texas. I mean, you can still do that today, but back then it was really kind of effective, a lot more effective than it is today. And we had still, even after, you know, we started realizing how to sponsor long distance, we still had 70% failure rate. And the distractions were still negative family and friends. But along about this time, there was something that came around the invention of cable TV, created something, a new word called infomercials. And a lot of infomercials were basically, as you guys know, are just local pitch. They were pitching ways to create cash flow and income into our living rooms in our local markets. So some of the prospect pool diminished because people were buying courses. Some of you probably remember Carlton Sheets, How to Get Rich in Real Estate, no money down. Don Lapre, How to Make Money with Tiny Little Classified Ads. The list goes on and on and on. William McCorkle, How to Get Rich in Real Estate, and I could go on and on and on, because I bought probably every single one of them, because I just buy everything, and been to all the pitches that they had at the hotels. Okay, but it created that. Now, it wasn't a big deal, but it did happen. It's part of the process, part of the development of entrepreneurs, at least in the United States. And I know we have a couple people here from outside the United States, actually 3, 4 outside the United States. Then in the mid-90s, we got into a total speculation stage in the network marketing industry, because we started focusing on recruiting each other. And there was programs that actually sold leads to network marketers. The first one was called ProStep. And then you also saw front-end load programs where people were buying $5, $10, $15, $25,000 worth of product on the front end to position themselves at a higher level in the marketing plan. And then you had people that just went out and sold people on buying $5 or $10 or $15, $20,000 worth of products, making their upfront commission and then going and selling somebody else, and then those people went and sold other people on $5,000 deals until all of a sudden everybody ends up with garage qualified products stacked up. And we've all seen or at least heard about that. Then genealogy leads. Okay, so this company goes out of business or this distributor jumps ship, and he sells his genealogy of his entire downline to a broker who then pitches it to leaders and other network marketing companies. And then we started doing blind cassette tape mailings, the first one being the very popular Dead Doctors Don't Lie, which a couple of different companies use that, and the Ray Cassano tape, and there were several others. Again, in the 90s, the industry went into pure 100% speculation stage. Then in the 2000s, about the beginning of 2000, we got into the internet stage, the attraction marketing stage, and total misinformation overload, in my opinion. You know, people started teaching people how to build business, running Google AdWords campaigns to sell products and to attract people. And that worked until the Google slap came. And then you had all these self-proclaimed gurus selling affiliate products and all these different hacks and attraction marketing, this and that. And here's what's really interesting, guys. Here's what's real interesting. Here, during the growth stage of the profession, during the growth stage, we had 70% failure rate. Okay, that's the way it is. Then when everybody started recruiting each other, the failure rate grew to about 80% of new people that came in. 80%. Why? Because they were not taught the foundational core principles and skill sets and mindsets that they were taught here, because this was really born out of the personal development industry. That's really where network marketing got its roots, got moving in the right direction by teaching people the proper skill sets and mindsets. You know, things like goal setting and time management, the list goes on and on. Okay, but then we tried to look for quicker, faster, easier, shorter ways to do it, and we got into speculation. And all this sounded good, but it made no sense from a wisdom of the ages standpoint, and our failure rate started increasing. Then the traction marketing thing came out, and people started looking for marketing hacks instead of personal development, instead of growth, instead of wisdom, instead of mindsets, instead of skill sets, instead of leadership development. And then we saw other distractions come around, like eBay. A lot of people jumped out of network marketing and into business models like eBay because they could create immediate profits. Okay, and still the infomercials are growing and expanding, and there's all these different entrepreneurial related opportunities that were flooding the internet and flooding the market. And at the same time, we've got attraction marketers saying, you know, just go on YouTube and call yourself a consultant. And then we saw the failure rate jump to about 85%. Today, the industry is in full-blown dissipation. Newbies are told what they want to hear. Go on social media, act like something you're not. Teach people to do something which you've never done. Waste hours and hours blogging on social media channels, and they're never being taught how to launch their business and develop the skill sets and mindsets that ultimately lead to success. Today, and I was talking with the company owner, and I agree with this. This was 2 weeks ago. We were talking about, you know, he kept saying, what's this Snap crap stuff. It's Snapchat. Well, what is, and he said, Dale, you got a 99% failure rate. Why is that? And I said, because nobody's taught the proper skill sets, mindsets, how to launch their business. They're just told what they want to hear, so they'll buy the blogging program, and they think they can go online and start creating a blog, and it's like they have a billboard in the desert, and they haven't even talked to their mama yet. All the distraction factors that we've had the last 30 years are the same. They've not gone away. But today we even got even more of a distraction than we ever had. Guys, that's the market that you're in. That's the market I'm in. And we can push it under the rug like it's not true, but reality is reality. But look, and I go back and I think about, excuse me, I think about this. 70% failure rate. Okay, let's look at reality. 70% of the people that get their insurance license probably never sell their first policy. 70% of the people that get their real estate license never sell their first house. Okay, it's what percent of small businesses go out of business within the first 5 years after they've invested their life savings? And they bought a franchise, or they started mom and pop hamburgers. Y'all seen the numbers. What, 85, 90% of businesses are out of business within the first 5 years. So 70% is pretty good. And the thing about it, guys, you can get started in the network marketing profession for less than $500. But no, we got to find a quicker, faster, easier way to do it. We got to come up with some convoluted comp plan. And we got so far away. Now, my question to you tonight is, where is it going to go from this point? I'm taking a drink of water. The only way for a movement to return to the state of growth which it was in is to return to the core fundamentals on which it was built upon. That's why I had to start the Network Marketing Leadership Development Academy. That's why. And really, you can't halfway buy what I'm trying to sell, because I'm not even trying to sell it. It's either you see it or you don't. And if you see it, then you can't participate at it at 64%, because this stuff will absolutely suck away time, years of your life that, quite frankly, you probably don't have, because the numbers that are required for you today are 30 times greater than they were 30 years ago. Guys, the truth is, the masses of people, the government, the FDA, the FTC, have a disdain for network marketing. Okay, that's the truth. Okay, you can tell it's an election year because of all the FTC stuff going on. Happens every election year. Attorney General's got to get their name in the paper for raiding a network marketing company of some kind. Or, put away these pyramid or scammers people. It's ridiculous. Okay, but that's the game that you're playing in. Okay, if those of you that are involved in nutrition, if there's any way the drug companies can take away the individual's right to go into a health store and buy vitamin C, they've been trying to do it for years. That day may come one day. Who knows? I hope it doesn't. But if it does, it doesn't matter if you have the skill sets and mindsets, because you can find any product or service and build it all over again. Okay, so that's what I always believed. When Henry Waxman started getting on his high horses about vitamins. So that's the game you're playing in. And because of because of the game that you're playing in, because of everything I've shared with you tonight, I believe in my heart and soul you have more upside potential than at any time in history. Say, well, Dale, that makes no sense. I think it makes perfect sense. And I believe that there's nowhere for the industry to go at this point except finding people that understand the real product is people, and that you're in the leadership development people. And I believe that the people that establish that and establish that track record are going to own it in the near future. Absolutely own it. With the people that kind of plug into it 73%, no, they aren't. They won't. It takes because it's tough, because I'm telling you, there's nobody around you, there's no sideline, there's probably no upline, there's probably nobody at corporate that really understands this kind of stuff. I'm not saying they're bad people. I'm not saying they're not very intelligent in many areas of their life. I'm just saying they don't get this at what I'm trying to tell you, what I'm trying to communicate, what I'm trying to help you see for yourself. After you have the leadership development paradigm shift and it's established, don't sway from the core fundamental foundations of your personal team's franchise. And understand you have to expose at least 10 times more people each week than any of you listening to me tonight are doing right now. Let me say that again, because I want to be real clear on this tonight. Okay, the leadership development paradigm shift, I believe you guys have it or you wouldn't be here. You understand that conceptually, if not, but you got it. Most of you right now, we're working with you, we're helping you establish your core fundamental foundations for your team, for your franchise, that you can build upon and duplicate. And once you have those, do not sway from those. Do not sway. Because they'll take you wherever you want to go. The 5 core fundamentals will take you as far as you ever want to go. Then new technology will create new ways to expose people to your product and service. But here's my main point that I want to communicate. And I look at your company reports every week, so I know what the numbers are. And some of you are doing awesome. Awesome. Just awesome. Some of you, like in the last couple, like last month was like the best month. You talked to somebody this, yeah, 2 or 3 people this week. So last month was the best month I've ever had, in years. So you guys are doing awesome. But whoever's doing the best, who's ever getting through the most numbers, whoever it is on this call tonight, I will tell you that whoever is the best, every one of you have to do 10 times more than the best each week than is happening right now. That's the kind of numbers you're looking at. It's massive. If people understood what they had to do, the number of people that they're going to have to expose to hear the whole story, as I said earlier, nobody would do the network marketing business. Nobody would participate in network marketing business. However, if they did, it would still be the best business decision they ever make the rest of their life. So, I mean, I'm just being as straight as I possibly can be. Now, here's something that I want to communicate tonight. It's important. And I haven't talked to people. I've only talked to a few of you about this individually, but I want to just get this out there. We'll talk about it when we need to individually, but it's the concept of an advertising budget. I believe that a 100% of your profits should go into an advertising budget. I also believe it should go into a personal development budget that I've talked about in the past, but advertising budget. Now, the reason is because once the core fundamentals, you got it, you understand it, you're implementing it, you're plugging people into it, and that's solid, and that's solid, and it's getting real easy for you. It's getting monotonous, and you get the flow of that part of the business. It all comes down to how many people can you expose on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. And the best way to do that is with an advertising budget. I'm not, and again, I've talked about this. When I started, I took my entire check and put it right back into my business because I didn't need it to pay my electric bill. When I started, I had a quote unquote good job. So that was my advertising budget. Now, I didn't dip beyond that, and I don't want any of you guys to. See, I've seen people over the years like, oh my gracious, Dale, this is going to do it for me. So I'm going to do this. It's only $400, and I'm going to buy this brochure, and it's going to be the magic foo-foo dust, and everybody that reads it is going to want products. I'm not saying that. There was a time years ago, one person with us tonight remembers that when we had a cheap, ugly yellow brochure. It was cheap. Why was it cheap? So you could get a ton of them out there. Our distributors could get a ton of them out there. We weren't trying to win some kind of best looking brochure advertising award. We were trying to build a daggone business. And we knew that the numbers told us that X number of people that find this brochure will read about the product, they'll flip it over on the back. Now get this, they'll fill out a form and mail a check for a product to somebody that they've never met. When we knew that worked, then we allowed people, hey, order 5,000 of them, because if your personal information is printed on the brochure instead of rubber stamped, it gives people a little bit better feeling about mailing a check to a P.O. box in another state because they found this brochure when they were traveling through at the rest area. But we had people could order directly from the printer. The printer printed the brochures, folded them, put them in a huge box that weighed about 50 or 60 pounds, and mailed it to them wherever they were in the United States or Canada. Okay, but see, that kind of if you went to a company today, and even if you send them to the website, which is fine, that's what you should be doing. The idea of giving distributors a cheap-looking brochure is foreign to most people, and it's not about how it looks, it's about will it work, and it's about can your distributors build customers with it, and will they lay them out freely where people will pick it up and go to the website and purchase the product. You don't need a dollar brochure. I'm sorry, I got off on a tangent, but my gracious, but you need an advertising budget, guys, because there's some weird stuff that come and go, okay? Weird stuff, and I'm not, that's not, example, there was a piece of software that I used about 5-6 years ago, and this was in other businesses. I think it cost me $197, something like that. And this piece of software would go on would go to Backpage, go to every city in every state in Backpage, and automatically post whatever ad that I inserted into it for that night. And for about 8 8 or 9 months, the last thing I did before I went to bed at night was to load up my ad for the night, and it would run for an hour, 2 or 3 hours while I was sleeping. And again, it was cool. I had a couple of people that I was working with, helping some of our customers in network marketing that I shared this with, and they were creating sales and prospects with this software that cost $197. Now, the guy that created it was a jerk. He didn't maintain it. It quit working, and he never fixed it, and it was gone. Okay, but the $197, I know I recouped my investment on that multiple times, as well as a few other people that I shared it with. Had the same similar product when Twitter first came out. Unbelievable. Posted to 17 Twitter accounts, and then Twitter changes the algorithm, software quit working. So I run across stuff from time to time that's going to work and it's going to hit, but the odds are many times it's especially with software, things change, it quits working. I've never found one of these that have worked long term, but I found different pieces of software. There's different off-the-wall advertising concepts that we're fooling with, testing all the time in every business. Now, see, I want to feel comfortable sharing some of this with you guys, because what I see is network marketing support services, this group down the road, all we're going to be doing is different lead generation methods, because that's what's ultimately going to create your success, because you'll have the core foundations in place. So think about an advertising budget, because again, I'm hesitant to share some things with some people because I don't want them to buy it and then it quit working or whatever. Okay, but if you're making $8, $10, $15, $25,000 a month, and you're part of the Network Marketing Leadership Development Academy, then I would expect that a portion of that is going into an advertising budget, and the sooner you start establishing that, the better off you're going to be. Because you can test and tweak, and this didn't work, and that's all I do in our other businesses. That's my that's my main responsibility. So establish your dues, establish your foundation. Don't sway from your core. Understand you have to expose at least 10 times more people each week than you're doing right now. You have to. Okay? And some of you say, well, Dale, I've been waiting for you to tell me that I can move forward because I've already done my 50 letters. Okay, then let's move forward. And again, I've had that conversation with a couple of you. Here's another thing I want you to understand, think about. Every 90 days, preferably every month, you're adding a new lead generation arrow to your quiver. A new one. Y'all have heard me talk about master it, outsource it many times. All of you need to get to that point at some point. With every lead, all lead generation at some point should be outsourced. Like we have one, and it doesn't apply to network marketing. If it did, I would share it with you guys. But we have one particular post that we can put on Facebook in the collegiate niche, and I know I can customize it to whatever team I want, and the amount of shares this thing's going to get is astronomical. Astronomical. Now, if we have Leadership Development Academy members from 14 different network marketing companies, and down the road we're working together to come up with some of this stuff. And so-and-so's in Isagenix, and so-and-so is in Herbalife, and so-and-so is in SBC, and so it's like we can collaborate on a lot of this stuff, and there's enough business out there for everybody, because I can promise you that nobody in your company is going to understand the core fundamentals of building a team anyway. So again, I'm just thinking outside the box and just sharing some things with you guys, and that understand at some point it all comes down to lead generation. There ain't no foo-foo just proven wisdom of the ages, success principles that work for everyone that puts them into action. Stay on the path of significant leadership. Significant leadership. The best leaders don't create followers, they create other leaders. You guys have heard me say that 1,000 times. So these are just some things I need to get off my chest tonight. I needed to share with you. I needed to just let you know about, because the number one thing that I am trying to communicate is, look, you got the core foundations are critical, because if you don't have that, all the leads in the world is just building whatever you build on sand. All the leads in the world. I mean, there's people in network marketing that have been enrolling 50 customers and new distributors a month for the last 5 years, and they can never stop doing that, or their income stops, because everything they're doing, their entire focus is just based upon what is my fast start, quick start bonus going to be. Now, if you want that kind of business, it can happen. I don't call it a business. I just call it a way to make cash flow. It's a money play. And again, I don't fundamentally have any problem with that at all. I don't. But that's not what network marketing is about. Network marketing is about building a real business, long-term, residual income, generational wealth. That's what I believe. So I just needed to share some of this with you tonight, get some of this off of my mind, because I can tell you the number of leads that's going to need to be generated, it can be. No question, it can be. And you can. But I just wanted you to see what the flow and what's happened over the last 30 years, and why we are where we are, and what we can do to move forward and to work with the way it is, and help other people down the road work with the way it is after they've successfully launched their business, and at least created some customers and some interest in the business, but more importantly have planted a lot of seeds. That's the most important thing a new person can do. So I hope this has helped you. If you have any questions, concerns, comments, ask Dale Calvert at gmail.com. Make sure you remember the Calvert. There's a couple people said, Dale, you won't respond to Ask Dale. It's because it's not Ask Dale. I don't know where that goes. I feel sorry for that guy. I don't know who Ask Dale at Gmail is, but he's probably a frustrated individual. He's getting my emails, but Ask Dale Calvert at gmail.com. You guys have an awesome evening. I appreciate you more than you know. Again, one day I will look back, I believe, on this and just be thankful that you were one of the people that helped move the profession forward through these concepts and ideas, because I know I know with everything that within me that we're on the right track, and I understand with everything within me that I cannot do what needs to be done by myself. We have got to return the industry to where 70% of people fail. That you can't expect for much better than that. But 99% is unacceptable. And with all the stuff that's being taught, I mean, it's just, you know, somebody sent me something this week. The guy was saying, here's what you do. You invest, then you teach it, and then you do something. And it's like, no, you do it, then you talk about it. I think I said this maybe last week in the webinar. Okay, guys, y'all have a great evening. I'm going to call it a night as far as the webinar. I'll get this recording up. I also did a recording on Aweber that I'm going to be putting in your back office probably hopefully tomorrow. I've got several other projects that I have to get done by Monday. So I'll stay on this and get this recording up for you as soon as I possibly can, as well as the Aweber video that's done and a couple of other things I'll have in your back office for you. Y'all have an awesome week. Remember, the teaching isn't in the words, the learning's in the silence. Think about what we've talked about tonight. I appreciate you. Good night. God bless.